In this episode of OG55, I got the one, the only, the legend, Mr. Theme Park Wizard with me today. We are talking all about Universal Sightlines. There's been a lot of to-do about these sightlines. I used to be one of those people that actually used to complain about the sightlines, but my opinion has changed on this. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. We got Wizard. We got OG. You can't get more West Coast than that. Up next on OG. Biddy. Oh.
I ain't got nothing to say but West Side.
Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG.
I was dancing to your intro theme.
You know what I'm saying? Well, it's a catchy tune, man. It's a catchy tune. Let's do it again. Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Da, 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 da.
There we go, Mr. Wizard. Where can everybody
movie?
Making moves. Where can everybody at home find you on social media, Wizard?
You can find me on Theme Park Wizard on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, Threads, and Reddit. I have a Reddit community there. You can find me stories on themeparkwizard.com where we're constantly rolling out new features and updating key features like project trackers for each of the parks and the ride refurbishment calendars daily.
There he is. Themeparkwizard.com. A great source for all your information, theme parks. And you can also book, from what I understand, Wizard, you can also book through you on that website, right?
You can book through me for any vacation or any ticket you want. But Halloween Horror Nights, Disneyland, and more.
There he is. All right, Mr. Wizard. I want to set the stage a little bit, okay? Because this has been the big to-do within the community right now.
Mm-hmm.
I used to really, maybe 2-3 years ago, I was really critical of the sightlines. It's you know this. I was very critical of the sightlines at Universal Hollywood, right? And now I'm not. And I think it's because of a mindset shift change that I've had since then.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going to Universal Hollywood a lot this year. I've actually gone a lot more to Universal than I have Disneyland Resort, believe it or not. I've probably gone to Universal.
In fact, watchers, on this exact day, I was just filming my regular update, and then I ran into this guy in front of Mel's Diner talking to Weber. I was like, What are you doing here?
Exactly. So I'm at Universal all the time now, right? So here's the thing. You have Universal Studios, which is a Hollywood park, right? Mm-hmm. This park in particular, even more so than the Orlando, especially more than the Orlando park, leans into its Hollywood roots with the tram tour and just being part of Hollywood. It's centered very much in right there, right next to the San Fernando Valley. It's very much that LA vibe, right? This park is a much more urban setting than say Disneyland is, right? So it's more of there's more city, I think, around Universal Studios Hollywood. So because of those two things, I think that it's kind of cool actually that Universal embraces its sort of Hollywood vibes, and you can actually see Hollywood from inside Universal Studios Hollywood, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Look, when you take Universal Studios Hollywood and you try to put it in the Disneyland box, yeah, it might come up short because these are two very different things, right? Disneyland is very much of a different beast than I think than Universal Hollywood is. And I think that if you go into this park with the mindset that this is a celebration of Hollywood and just Los Angeles in general, and you're going to experience these great attractions, but at the same time, you're also going to experience a taste of LA. I think your mindset shifts in regards to these sightlines and what you can see from outside the park. Like, for example, the Comcast building from Mario Land and things like that. I think your mindset changes when you realize this park is a part of LA and it celebrates that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I know a lot of people have been watching my channel for a long time, and they've heard me before being very critical. That's why my mindset has changed on this particular topic. And now it doesn't bother me, you know? So, but anyway, Wizard, what are your thoughts overall on the Sightlines over here in Hollywood?
Well, yeah, see, it's interesting because, as you said, it started off originally as just a studio, and kind of grew out of the studio tour into different attractions and stuff, and then it's it's on a mountain or on a hill. So with all those escalators and it literally being like a massive like 2-story, split in half by a mountain, some sightlines are just so hard to to cover. Um, Nintendo World did a good job with its high walls, but even there, if you go online for Mario Kart Q, if you look over to the right again, like I showed in the video, with this video, you'll see the whole upper lot basically. And I mean, unless you made it an indoor land, that one's like impossible to completely, cover up. Whereas Universal Orlando and Disneyland, they have a very nice privilege of being on flat ground, so it's much easier to cover up, make like Cars Land does a fantastic job of blocking out the power lines and great stuff like that. And Disneyland, of course, is like the sight line perfection almost over there. And that actually, I want to speak on Disneyland because I think this particular one, and because it's not even just sight lines, it's people are upset about, I feel like, these other things besides sight lines. Because if you so someone's arguing, oh my goodness, look at Wizarding World, so magical and so lovely, and then you look and you see this. By the way, this is as you, if you don't know, this is as you exit the land. It's not as you get into Wizarding World. You're going out of it. But like on the same time, you see, you're down Main Street at Disneyland and you see a castle. Now,
Right.
one of them is more beautiful than the other, and I think this is a part of where the disdain comes from. Because one, I know a lot of people probably don't like Fast and Furious in general, so seeing the logo just makes them upset. Two, the brick building inside is pretty as something like Matterhorn that you can see from the Birds of America or something. It's not like as beautiful as that. And I agree. I didn't like. I like the previous version of the station and the leaked concept art, where it's like this LA Hollywood Hills mansion type of thing. But we got the brick thing, which it's okay. It's whatever. Could it be better? I definitely think so, but this is what we got. So I think that's also part of why this particular one got people so upset, because literally in the same park, you can, from Springfield, you can see Hogwarts Castle, but no one talks about that.
Right.
Hogwarts Castle is beautiful, right? But they do talk about the reverse, like, oh, you can see Simpsons Ride from Hogsmeade. Why? Because Simpsons Ride is much uglier than Hogsmeade. So I think the real argument, or the real thing here, is not about the sight lines, even though that's what people mask it as. It's about making the sight line pretty. And to some points, they have some valid stuff here, but with such a limited amount of space, like this stations are literally on the side of a hill. It can't be too much farther back. And some people say put some trees there. Now, they did plant palm trees. That's in the concept art, but you can't put too many trees because it's OG. And anyone who knows here, I mean, look at this photo. Look how crowded it is already. So if you put a planter there, and this is not even like a busy day, if it gets like even busier than that, you won't be able to walk. So you can't really put a planter there, or like what people want, like a big shrub or something, because then it'll just block the sidewalks like these construction walls already are. So very difficult to do. But I do think that the Comcast era of Universal does try their best when accounting for these things.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think that Comcast has to pick their battles. I mean, the reality of the situation here in Hollywood is that we have limited space, just like we have limited space at Disneyland Resort. We don't have the blessing of size like they do out there in Florida. And I know a lot of, there have been a lot of vocal Floridians out there with the Hollywood stuff, but they don't really understand that we don't have the size that they have out there. We don't have the luxury of spacing stuff out, and having all this setup. Like, this is literally, this park was not this. Universal Studios Hollywood started as a studio, and it slowly became a theme park too. It wasn't designed as a theme park from day one, so there's going to be some kind of awkward parts of it. But see, that's the cool thing too. The awkwardness of it kind of also gives it its character, because yeah, you know what, you might have a huge park in Florida, Orlando, but you know what, we have a very unique park here that no one else in the world has. You know, this is a very unique situation out here. So yeah, it is weird because it didn't start off as a park, but these quote unquote blemishes sort of give it more character. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of dig it, and I've grown to love it more and more as I've been going more and more this year, you know? And in terms of this particular sightline, I mean, here, look, and we talked about this, Wizard, when we were hanging out a few days ago. If this was on the other side, if this was like behind the Hogwarts
if it was behind Hogwarts, that'd be terrible, because that's like an iconic thing, and it's landed in the land. But as you said, you know, you're literally exiting the land, and before this, there were 2 theaters there, so it wasn't even any better, you know.
Right, exactly. So it wasn't any better, and yeah, you're exiting. It's fine. It's absolutely fine to me. And again, this is not Disneyland. It's not meant to be that kind of park. You know, this kind of embraces it embraces its limitations in really smart ways. I've been saying for a long time, you know, the Fast and Furious coaster that they're building, the location of this coaster is absolute brilliance. They took that hillside with all those escalators, which some people would say that that's a negative part about the park. They took that and they utilized it and turned it into a major asset. You know, not only is it going to add a thrill factor because you're on that hill doing crazy shit, but now you're also getting to get an amazing view of LA and the San Fernando Valley. You know, Disney and Warner Brothers are right there within eye shot of this coaster. So you're witnessing Los Angeles through this LA themed attraction. You know, I think it's perfect, man. And it's again, like the whole park does. It celebrates Los Angeles, and I love that about it. You know what I'm saying, Wizard?
Oh yeah, I totally agree. And for that long escalator trip down to the lower lot, I mean, the first, whether you're going up or down, the first or last escalator will be, you know, very much enhanced now, because you'll have a coaster going above and below you. I mean, how cool is that when you're riding the escalator and you're watching the coaster go around you? I mean, adds fun for the passerby too, who never even, who don't want to get on the coaster or not doing it right now. If you're just going downstairs, like, wow, look at that cool coaster up there. And as you said, yeah, the Starway, the escalators may be seen as a blemish by some people. But even then, you know, Universal was like, man, gotta connect the two, so let's do these escalators. But let's kind of make it an attraction in itself. You know, they have those viewing platforms, with the telescopes, binoculars. At each stop, we can look into the valley, and they have little photo ops, and they have benches if you want to sit and chill there. Great place to sit and chill and drink a butterbeer, looking at the beautiful San Fernando Valley on a beautiful day as you're taking a break on the escalators. They have some food stands. So, you know, they could have made it just boring and nothing. They could have added nothing there. But at least they tried to make it like a little bit of an attraction on itself, because they know it's a long journey up and down. And, you know, like I said, making the best of the space they have and trying to enhance every experience of every square inch of land.
You know, I really like how you brought that up, Wizard, because that is yet another fantastic example. I never thought about that, but you're right. That's another fantastic example of them embracing the location, where it's like, you know, it's leaning into the fact that we're in LA and we're going to showcase it. You know what I'm saying?
And they even have that thing on the first escalator platform. They have the whole little map with all the stars with little numbers. That says, if you look here, you can see this and this and this. And they do have Disney and Warner Brothers on there. And I think, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, especially if you're a tourist, you're like, oh my gosh, hey, look, I see a movie studio right here, Universal. But look, here's Warner Brothers, and there's Disney. Like, oh my God, that's the studio, not the theme park, but the actual studio. And for big movie people or people who really like Disney movies, I mean, I can imagine the feeling seeing that for the first time, you know?
Oh, 100%. Now, here's the thing, too. Here's another thing. I mean, and look, I have no problem admitting I'm wrong, and when I'm wrong, I'll say it, right? So the Sightline thing I was wrong on. And another thing that I was wrong on, and actually shout out to Vash Sky. I remember we had a discussion about this maybe 3 or 4 years ago, back on the channel, and he said Universal Studios Hollywood attracts more tourists, and I'm like, nah, dude, come on, Vash, you're crazy, bro. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Disneyland all the way. But honestly, and this is anecdotal, but from what I've noticed now that I'm going to this park all the time, you know what? I think you might be right, dude. And we've talked about it a few times here on the channel recently. I see a lot more international guests, you know what I'm saying, than Disneyland. At least, I mean, Disneyland has a lot of locals. Universal, I feel more tourists.
Yeah, I did notice that too, and it's too bad. I wish you were to come before the pandemic happened, because when there's a lot more Asian tourists, there's some now, but I couldn't believe it, especially because when I was working Harry Potter in 2018, Forbidden Journey, I kid you not, I don't know how they fit. I think I saw those big buses outside, and sometimes I see them piling out of the buses. But they'd all give VIP to them, VIP badges, and I swear I counted 50 groups of 50 Asian tourists probably coming from those buses. I mean, not just once. I mean, all day long. I'd be scanning them in, like, oh my gosh, and I hear all these different Asian languages, and see again these massive groups. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys must be rich, because this is expensive. But so many groups now. Unfortunately, again, after the whole COVID and everything, that hasn't really returned yet. I mean, yeah, you see some groups, but so I haven't seen those big groups. But I've never seen anything like that before at any theme park, not just Disney or another one I've been to. But I was like, wow, these are huge groups. I'm like, these guys really like Universal. And I was like, wow, I was shocked. I've just never seen that before until I was working that Harry Potter attraction. And I just kept scanning it all day. I couldn't believe it.
That's incredible, and that's what I've always wanted for Disneyland, where you would get more of that tourist market. And I've gotten comments on my channel like, well, what do you have against magic key holders? I have nothing against magic key holders. Like, I'm a local too. I don't hate locals, but I want more tourism at Disneyland. And I feel like Universal right now, and like what you were saying, it's apparently been going on for a long time. They're attracting more people from outside of the state and outside the country, which is really, really cool, man. I think it's really cool to see all these different walks of life and cultures, experience this place, a little taste of LA. I think that's beautiful, dude, and I love that. And I wish Disney would get on the ball with that and market more towards tourists, incentivize tourists more through deals and packages or whatever else they can do to possibly get more tourists. But yeah, Universal, though, it seems like a hot spot. And another thing too with Universal that I think is attractive to a tourist is that whole Hollywood thing. Like when you're like, right? They love it. Like I used to live, I was born and raised in California. I'm a Californian through and through. But when I was 14, my family and we moved to Chicago because we had family out there after the big earthquake.
Chicago, I have family in Chicago.
Chicago. We moved out there, and we lasted only like 4 or 5 months because the weather was total shit.
Oh yeah, I'd be out there as soon as it started snowing. I'm like, all right, see you.
We're done. Yeah, because we moved out there like in September, and I think by February we were moving back to California. So it didn't last very long. It was short-lived for sure. But one of the things because I went to a Catholic school out there in Chicago, and my friends would always tease me. They're like, "Oh man, Mr. Hollywood over here." But the one thing that they all wanted to see was Hollywood. Like that, all my buddies in Chicago they were so curious about Hollywood. So there's this curiosity factor definitely with Hollywood, and Universal is a great kind of window into Hollywood. It's better probably than the real Hollywood.
For real. Yeah, especially because if you go during the week, I mean, you're likely to see some sort of star walking around the background filming something, and more so than you could walking around Hollywood. It's got a little bit dirty sometimes, but you can get a nice clean Hollywood with a nice celebrity sighting at Universal.
Yeah, 100%. So
and just for Disney, to find that viewers comment that whenever they comment in, they should want more tourists to come to Disneyland, because the magic holders, I have one, are fantastic, but tourists spend more money, right? Usually. So if you spend more money, then it's likely you will get more enhancements to the Disneyland Resort, because tourists top dollars, they send the biggest, the best rooms. It's a Disneyland Hotel or Grand Californian, and then they go and they really buy a whole bunch of merch and stuff. For magic holders, we come in. I mean, I've done it many times. No, OG, you've done it. Come in, shoot, I've come in many times, not bought or eaten a single thing, and just filmed or ride or couple rides and left and ate out off property, and so they got made nothing for me besides the $28 or no $114 they get from me every month. But that's not a lot. That's pennies compared to if one of those big Asian groups coming in and with the VIP. I mean, VIP is much more expensive at Disneyland than Universal. So imagine per person how much that is. That's a lot. And go and eat stuff. I mean, they're making a lot more money off of them than they would me. So those people, everyone should want more tourism at the Disneyland Resort because they spend more money and give us more new attractions, new parades, new anything. They'd be much more willing to open up the pocketbook, hopefully, with that tourism dollar.
No, 100%, Wizard. Well said. And then one thing I want to touch upon too is Universal Hollywood. It's primed for a lot of success because we've talked a lot on this video about how a lot of international guests are going to Universal. We've seen it firsthand. And what's Universal doing? They're building a hotel just feet away from the Universal Globe. Now, if you have people coming from Australia,
many take pictures of, by the way, you've seen them. So many pictures people take pictures of that. What a great marketing tool to stay right there,
Boom, right there, right when you walk in, you know what I'm saying? And so you have all these people coming from Australia, Japan, the UK, whatever, and now you're giving them a hotel within just feet of the Globe and the main entrance. I mean, that's going to be, I'm telling you, that's going to be a big hit for them. Any word on when we might, according to Universal, it doesn't exist, right? But hypothetically, when would this hypothetical hotel open?
It should open there. It's on track to open in 2028 before the Olympics starts. That would be right on time.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. So that's perfect timing because Universal the Olympics, I feel, are more important to Universal than actually Disney because they take place in LA, number one. But number two, isn't NBC the broadcaster?
The literal provider of the Olympic stuff. That's their home base. I'm sure some people will be staying at some of these places like the hotel. I'm sure they'll be hosting some of these people because they'll need them to market them. And there's a literal Olympic game in the back lot. I think was it pickleball or something? They're having something in Courthouse Square, so that'd be pretty cool to watch. Definitely want to get some tickets to that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Now, before we go, speaking of tickets, do we know anybody who can help people get tickets to this place, Wizard?
Oh, yes, you can get tickets through me. You can email me at ebecker@winseandeasttravel.com. And then you can also go on my website and fill out the form below to get tickets to any of these places, Disneyland, Universal, and more. And I wanted to say, because we were talking about tourists, and it's semi-related to the Sightlines and stuff, and this is at Disneyland and Universal. These tourists as we come in, they come in, they pay top dollar. I mean, I think the last thing on their mind, it's kind of puts into perspective, the last thing on their mind is, the sight line looks bad, or Splash Mountain got changed to Tiana's. All these things that we locals complain about. I feel like we never think about, man, a tourist comes in and they probably don't give a two craps about that. They're like, I just want to go have fun, and they have fun no matter what. No matter if you see Simpsons from Potter, whether it's Tiana's or Guardians of the Galaxy, as long as the ride's open, I'm sure they're having a great time. But I feel like as locals in the theme park community, I feel like we really kind of sometimes lose sight of that, because we're so focused on infighting and in debating.
Oh no, well said, Wizard. I mean, the theme park community loves that. They love the bubble. They love the bubble so much, and they forget that like the normies are in a whole different mindset. Like we went on the Wish a couple years ago. Myself, George, and Vashkai, and our friend Mindy. And I'm telling you, when we were in that Marvel restaurant, dude, I mean, the normies were climbing over each other to meet Spider-Man. Now, if you were to look at the Disney online community, you would think that everyone hates Marvel at the Disney park.
I know.
It's not my Disney, right? Not my Disney. I'm going to send another email,
Yes, instructions below.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the normies. There's definitely a divide there, 100%. So, but Mr. Wizard, it's always a pleasure having you on, brother. And it's it's really great hanging out with you at the parks the other day, man. I had a good time with you. Everybody, make sure you subscribe to Mr. Wizard. If you can remind everybody where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Theme Park Wizard on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and themeparkwizard.com, where I'm looking to debut a special new feature. I'm working on it right now, and so check that out. But also, we do weekly updates at Universal Studios Hollywood on a video version for YouTube and then an article version on the website. But theme park project trackers for Universal Orlando, Disneyland Resort, Disney World, and Universal Hollywood, and ride refurbishment calendars for the same four parks. And also, don't forget, guys, to go on August 23rd. That's in 10 days. There's an OG55 meetup.
Yes.
Oh, yes. It's in
August
downtown
23rd.
Disney. So make sure to go do that because that's Mr. Italiano's birthday. And if you want to give him a birthday present, gotta go to downtown Disney.
It's your birthday. Yeah, exactly. August 23rd, downtown Disney. We're actually going to give more details as we get a little bit closer. But yeah, anyone, if you're interested, definitely check it out. It's at downtown Disney. We did downtown Disney because we want to allow everyone to come, even because a lot of times people are blocked out and stuff like that in the parks.
Yeah,
So downtown
exactly.
Disney,
And OG55 is not going to put you behind a paywall. Okay?
No way. No
Come
way.
whenever you want.
Exactly. I'm a man of the people, I got to deliver. We're doing downtown Disney. Let's have everyone join, so it'll be fun. And, but Wizard, thank you for joining. I want to thank everybody for watching this episode of OG80.
Thank you so much for watching OG55. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and become a member today.